I move that the special meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council is called to order at 6:11 PM. Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Yes. Hassan Ahmad.
Here.
Mo Baidoon.
Here.
Nancy Breyer.
Here.
Robert Constant.
Here.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Here.
Hassan Saab.
Here.
And Tom Wenzel.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We're going to start off by doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Our very own, very favorite redhead here is going to start us off.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you so much. All right. First thing on the agenda today, we have approval of the agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agenda for the special meeting of January 16th as submitted.
Support. Supported by Councilman Constant. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad. We're open for discussion. Any discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have public hearing and comments on agenda items only. Yeah, but we don't have anything for approval of minutes, so I'm going straight there. Our very own. Please state your name, the city you reside on, and only the street. that you live on.
Rachel LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. Since I don't get to do the back and forth like some people are lucky enough to, I'll say that my understanding of the anti-nepotism part of the charter is that it says no relative of an elected official can be appointed or employed by the city. It's not about conflict of interest per se. It's just a blanket. If you are an elected official, these relatives cannot be appointed or employed. Now, technically, Mr. Sherfy wouldn't be employed by the city. Could it be considered appointed? I could argue probably both ways. It's up to you guys. I will say, though, that for some people, it's going to come off as a conflict of and a violation of that part of the charter. I don't know that I would agree with that. I'm sure there's great argument both ways. But it's not so much about conflict of interest on specific things. It's just that we're not supposed to appoint or hire anybody that's relatives of elected officials. As much fun as it would be to work with all of our relatives, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other members or anyone else? Councilman, if you'd like to respond, you're more than welcome to.
So to Ms. LaPointe's question, I truly believe that even if anything does in the council lead up to litigation or to court, I don't think it'd be in Dearborn Heights. I think it would be maybe Third Circuit Court.
That's not the issue, though.
Yeah, no, I understand, but and I also would think that even if it went to Dearborn Heights, I don't think Judge Turfy would be seeing the case.
That's not the issue, though. It's just that we're not supposed to hire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
well, since we're talking about it, and I understand what Ms. LaPointe says, however, these are independent contractors for the council.
Correct.
So it's not as if we're hiring, let's say, for deputy comptroller or something. And as I'm speaking, I'm just looking here for the anti-nepotism section.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Having said that, we can look into that, and then the other thing is, this is a 4 or 5 attorney firm. Remember years ago, Justin Ravitz had some type of a excessive force lawsuit in his firm against the city of Dearborn Heights, but yet they still did work for us, and they talked about building a Chinese wall, and as Mr. Daklala said, they could, build a screen where he wouldn't be involved at all in any discussions or issues regarding, like, for example, the judicial branch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for this.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any more public hearings and comments on agenda items only? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Nope, we got some.
Okay, we do have one.
Yeah, Gary Mayad, Plainfield Street, Dearborn Heights.
Respectfully, I think that it would not apply in this particular situation because it says of any elected official, and I think the elected official would be considered to be a city elected official. And as Councilman Constant pointed out, technically speaking, the district court judges are considered to be employees and elected officials of the state. So,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Even though they run in the city of Dearborn Heights, they're still considered state elected officials?
yes.
Thank you.
Because they're not getting paid from the city. Correct. They're not getting paid from us.
Thank you. Wow. Mr. Turvey didn't even have to do anything. Next up on the agenda, we have reports from city officials. 9A, City Council Chairman Beidoun, City Council Special Legal Counsel. We don't have a motion here, but I'm going to allow maybe Councilman Pro Tem to kind of just wing what we believe this motion should state.
After hearing the three gentlemen today, Council Chair, I would like to put a motion on the table, maybe to hire both firms as a special legal counsel to the council. I think the expertise that Mr. Mayaki brings to all the knowledge and experience he, been in the city for so long, and the other gentleman from the Hamoud Dakhlalla firm, I think that would be a great team. I'm not sure if they're okay working together, but I would say that will be the A team for us. I'm not sure about other council members, but I would like to entertain a motion to hire both firms.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on this?
Council Chair?
Councilman Wanso.
Yeah, thank you. It's kind of a good idea, but I think we're opening the door for more fees when they talk back and forth to each other. Fees that aren't, specific to our situation. And I'm sure they would do that when you talk back and forth about a case, situation, but I don't know if that'd be doubling our fees or.
Would you like to answer that?
That's a
Would
great
you,
question.
Turfy, would you like to also get up and answer that?
If I may, I actually commented to the gentleman, if I knew you guys were getting involved, we potentially would have been able to do something where we might look at something together in this situation. For example, one of the things I would think about is in terms of just giving you general ongoing advice and things along those lines, I think I would generally be the one who would probably be a better fit. But if it goes into litigation, they might be able to jump on it faster in terms of having resources. So I would be open to
Would it
this kind of
cost
an
us
arrangement.
anything if you two spoke to each other?
Well, it depends on how long we have to speak. Generally, the way in which this had been done in the past is that there was not usually going to end up being fees charged between firms with respect to that when it was the corp counsel. I don't know how they would look at that, so.
Well, I'll be honest, I like that question, Councilman Wanso. That's actually a great question. And, ultimately, the resolution states we'd like you both, but if you two have a discussion, we wouldn't want to be, even though if it's, really, how long you guys are going to talk for? I don't see you two talking on the phone for an hour. I'm sure it could, maybe some emails back and forth, but maybe you guys can help negotiate that a little bit, Turfy. You
So
guys are
I
lawyers.
can give a little bit of context of how that situation would work out in practice. And that is if Mr. Mayaki provides, for example, a memorandum on a specific provision of a charter, and that memorandum or the contents of it would be a subject of a litigation that we would have to file in court, Mr. Mayaki would have already completed, billed for, and done the research and the writing needed to present you with the legal opinion. Him picking up the phone to call us for a question, we're not double billing for what he has already done. It's the same thing akin to as if me and Kassim are talking amongst ourselves between a strategy decision, on the litigation side. So it actually saves us from having to do additional research because Mr. Mayaki had already done that and prepared that for the benefit of the council. We're kind of piggybacking off of his work to take that and put it into court documents.
And if I may, my sense would be too, is that you might have two different hourly rates. And I say this in part, and I actually spoke to these gentlemen previously at the request of the mayor when it came to looking for a firm to replace Seacrest Wardle. This would have been some time ago. And I enjoyed meeting with them and with Mr. Hammoud. I like these gentlemen. I think I could work with them. I think it would be good. And then maybe I would do kind of more of the council sort of stuff and have some input when it would come to things. And to be frank, the comment that the mayor made was not a positive comment in terms of how he looks potentially at this. And litigation may actually be something that would end up coming up. I'd hate to see it as a resident, but if it does, then it would potentially be a good team effort here from.
I would also just add on, gentlemen, I think Gary, and with respect to the two honorable attorneys that are here with us today, but I think Gary's expertise when it comes to Dearborn Heights and its charter, and given the fact that he's worked through Dearborn Heights for the last 30-plus years, I said a lot longer than I've been born, I think he has got the charter memorized in his head. I think almost every single section. I think your guys' expertise in seeing the recommendations from, our Deputy Attorney General, I'm sure you guys have resources and you guys are able to represent litigating really well. I would love to see both of you guys work hand in hand. And I would also like to respectfully see that, the Councilman Wenzel's recommendation of us not being charged if you two are having conversation, which I know our Councilor Turfy over here spoke on that. So in reality, this was a good motion. I think I'd be pleasant and happy with the two of you guys, or the three, or both firms. Ultimately, even if I'm able to piggyback off of the two, but I mean, obviously, we would still have to receive some information and submit it in by the next council meeting. We can, put a vote, it's just to an extent, but I think ultimately an engagement letter would have to be drafted by the two of you, submitted, and council would have to approve.
Would it be okay if we would end up having potentially two engagement letters?
Yes, you guys would both have your own separate.
Yeah, because we are separate firms.
100%. I would
need to
only
do that.
want it with two separate, but as long as they were very similar and they matched, and everybody knew their respected roles when it came to what's happening in Dearborn Heights.
And would what I was kind of suggesting work, that I would deal with more of the opinions?
100%. And they would do
deal with
more of the
litigation?
litigating work.
Yes, okay.
Correct.
Council Chair?
Council Chair, I had two
got
other
Council
points to
Chair.
make.
Yep, go ahead. I think it was the Councilman Wenzel, and then we have Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell, and then we have Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you. Both the firms, is there going to be any kind of retainer involved in this agreement?
For me, no.
No?
Do you mean like an upfront retainer?
Yes?
No.
No? Okay. Do any of you have a relationship or past business relationships with anyone employed by the city or involved in the city, or anyone on this council?
For the council, I can say no. For anybody employed by the city, I mean, I'd have to have a list of everybody who's ever been employed by the city. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't think so, depending on how you define employed by the city. If it's every single employee in the city, I could, I don't know. But I don't think anybody in a decision-making capacity would be implicated.
Okay.
And I would note in terms of potential conflict, because I don't have anything like I stated earlier, but if there was, then it would be possible to say, look, I consulted with this person previously. I think I may have access to confidential information pertaining to them. I need to decline to end up advising the council. They would be able to step in. If they have that kind of issue, I would be able to step in. So, it actually will protect us from the potential for issues with conflicts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime. Councilwoman?
Yes, I do think an engagement letter is necessary, describing how you're going to coordinate between the two different firms, what your role is and what your role is. I know you have historical knowledge like nobody has in the city. I don't think anybody dead or alive has it. You've been there too long. I mean, you've been there over half, and you're good in litigation. It's a good match. It's a perfect match, I think, in my eyes. The only thing I hope goes in okay is I'm looking at this, and it says the relatives and their spouses of any elected official. It doesn't say city. It says elected official. I know our charter's vague, but people can twist that around. It's not saying you know, I know, I get it. They're two different entities technically when it comes to the budget or whatever, but still, it says the following relatives and their spouses of any elected official or his spouse are disqualified from holding any appointed or employment of the city of Dearborn Heights. There it mentions Dearborn Heights. So
Madam
I don't
Clerk?
know, that could cause us an issue. And we
Madam
need to
Clerk?
figure that out.
I don't know if this is any bearing, but only city council, mayor, clerk, treasurer, local school districts file with us for elections.
Right?
Okay.
But it just says elected officials,
Just-
doesn't spell
Right,
out.
right. I just want to tell you that the locals file with us, and I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm
They-
seeing the
they
big
do
picture,
file
but
with
I
the
know
state.
what we're saying too. But I'm just being the devil's advocate here.
That explains a lot for me too. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know it's gonna come to us. We gotta be
Yeah, for sure.
prepared
So you're,
Councilman.
yes.
to
No,
take.
I would say with that argument, I'm on board. That really solved it for me.
But I think it is a good
But I mean,
pairing right here.
So,
Hold on one second, Councilman. Go ahead,
Council Chair, thank you.
Councilman Pro
Just
Tem.
to repeat whatever the councilwoman said, I mean, if that's the case, then any elected official in the whole state of Michigan, or any elected official in the whole USA. I mean, I think they're talking about the city here,
Well,
about.
yeah,
and
but
it is
it
part of the
says
city,
specified.
Yeah,
even
but I
though
mean,
it's
if we
not.
had Mr. Miyake, who's been, like you said, is the encyclopedia of the city,
Yeah,
and
he
he's saying it's not, so I guess I'm gonna go with whatever he said. But I just want to remind everybody, we're gonna have two engagement letter, which doesn't mean we're gonna have to hire both at the same time. I mean, it's their special legal counsel. If we need something, one specific area, we can go to one of, both gentlemen, or if we need them both at the same time, then we can hire them both at the same time. But this is just to retain them, and we get an approval to use their services. So whether we need Mr. Miyake, we can go to Mr. Miyake, whether we need Mr. Dakhlalla, we can go to Mr. Dakhlalla, or if we need them both at the same time, then we can have them at the same time. That's the way I'm looking at it, I
Yeah.
guess,
Right.
unless I'm wrong. but-
Yeah, this is special use
It's
only.
special, so they're not gonna be here all the time, like Council Chair said. They're not corp counsel, they're special legal counsel for whatever the council body needs. Thank you, Council Chair.
Anytime. Councilman Saab?
yeah, once again, just to Ms. Maxwell's question, so the judges are paid by the state, they're not technically city employees. We're just as a,
Right, what I was saying, it's not saying, city
I know,
elected
it doesn't
officials.
specify.
right?
But
this
it's
is
part of the
city
Dearborn
charter.
Heights Charter, which the judges are part of Dearborn Heights. I know this was written in 1963 when they never saw this coming.
So,
You know,
maybe
but,
Bob
so we
can
gotta
check
be
with his
prepared
dad.
for what comes at us.
So-
Well, this is sort of a standard provision, any nepotism provisions in a
Yeah.
lot of city charters.
Right.
Okay. Any other?
So,
Go ahead,
I mean, if
Councilman Breyer?
I'm sorry, if I just, can I respond to that point?
One second before you do so. You want to go ahead and speak out?
Yeah,
in
I
case-
have a question, Mr. Hamud. And
no, there is no Mr. Hamud.
Daklala?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. Are you related to anyone with the same last name that we would know
Well, the same last name as
as yourself?
Daklala? I'm related to 1,000 people with that last name.
I was just wondering if you had any relatives that would be in an elected position, either here or another city.
You may be thinking of
No.
I don't think there's any.
Ali.
Lala, you're talking about. No, two different last names.
I think she's mistaken, Fadlallah and Daklalla. It's like, yeah.
So if I may respond to this,
Yes.
this discussion relating to nepotism, which again is an important discussion, but as Councilman Constance said, an anti-nepotism, the purpose of the anti-nepotism provision in any charter would be nepotism relating to the entity within which that provision exists. So we're looking to prevent nepotism, meaning the advancement by unwarranted means of the relatives of elected officials. And so really we're talking about Dearborn Heights. The language, of course, is a little bit loose, but we're not trying to prevent every relative of every elected official in the United States of America from getting an appointment in Dearborn Heights. The purpose is to prevent the relatives of Dearborn Heights elected officials from getting employment for an improper purpose. So that's the scope rationale. But then if you get into the actual substance of the language, we're talking about an employment relationship of an individual, or we are talking about an appointment where, as I understand it, this application is not for either. It is not a direct employee position of Mr. Turfy, but rather it's an independent contractor on a contract basis with my law firm. So I don't think, and I understand, there's perhaps political considerations. Maybe you don't want to make certain decisions which would, these days, anybody can magnify their voice over something that's not an issue. But from a legal standpoint, as I said at the outset, we've looked into this issue because we're sensitive to these types of things, because we do advise large organizations on things like nepotism. And we just don't see that this is an issue, not legally.
Man, Turfy, your dad just had to be the judge of Dearborn Heights.
Well, Dearborn Heights is a great judge in Judge Turfy.
Yes, it is. We're honored and lucky to have Judge David Turfy.
If I may, I would respectfully disagree. This is would be considered to be an appointed position under the charter. However, based on what was previously stated, I would look at this as pertaining to city elected positions, and hence would concur with what the ultimate result would be, but a little different reason.
All right, do we have any other questions from any other council members? All right, then I think this is ultimately a decision that we need to put to a vote. We don't want to spend all day here. I think the councilman, do you want to
I just wrote something right now.
Okay.
Maybe they can help out. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council to retain Mr. Gary T. Miyake, attorney at law, and Hamoud Dakhlallah, an associate PLLC, as special legal counsel to Dearborn Heights City Council.
I'll second.
Yeah, and subject to approval of written engagement letters from Mr. Mayatki and from the firm name.
Subject to approval of written.
engagement letters?
Right. And then we can put those together, and I need to get from the city clerk the last Schenck agreement, which was approved and upheld by both the circuit court judge and the Michigan Court of Appeals, because I'm expecting that we are going to potentially, given what I heard, have some issues, and we'll make sure that all the i's are dotted and t's crossed.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, are you okay with the motion, or you want me to say it again? I had to speak, huh? I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council to retain Mr. Gary T. Miyake, attorney at law, and Hamoud Dakhlallah, an associate PLLC, as special legal counsel to Dearborn Heights City Council, subject to approval, written engagement letters from both firms.
I'll second.
Okay. I know you had one more question, but we're going to go ahead and take that last one and wrap it up.
Well, my only thought is that we can't vote until we see the retainer agreements, and then we.
We're approving to accept them, subject to their engagement letters. So nothing is official. We're approving to retain both of them, but, subject to their two engagement letters.
I'm saying we have to look at the retainer letters first. And then
Well, if we don't approve the retainers letters, then we're not going to approve them.
Then there's no
That'll be at the next meeting.
Yeah.
They're
So we
subject.
would actually.
So what happens after, like, we got those engagement letters? Do we need to put it back on the agenda, or
Yes,
We're
it
just
should be on
soliciting
the
the
agenda
two.
for next week.
next week? Okay.
I think we should be able to turn around, get it in for Thursday. And,
Are you okay again, Mr. Dakhlallah? You okay again, the engagement by tomorrow, hopefully?
Yeah.
Thursday morning?
Yes, we can do that.
Tomorrow would be. Are you okay with tomorrow or Thursday morning?
So which one, tomorrow or
I mean,
Thursday?
tomorrow would be better.
We can get it by tomorrow if necessary, sure.
and one other thing, if I may note, the charter requires that prior to the council having it submitted, the mayor has to actually have an opportunity to review the contracts. So if the city clerk could take whatever we provide and send it on over to both Mayor Bazey and Mr. Farina, we'll make sure we cover that as well.
Thank you so much.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah. So we're going to submit that all over to him as well. Councilman. So now we're going to take this over to a vote. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab on hiring the two firms. Please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Next up on here, we have public comments, members of the public. Comments from council members.
No, public comments.
I'm sorry.
Council members.
You know what, we're going to switch it up today, Madam Clerk. We're going to hear from our honorable council, our former councilmen and our members moving forward.
So what if they leave it before we hear us, though?
It's okay. Maybe we won't.
How are you, ladies?
Hang on 1 second. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and, well, we know who you are, but
354 Rosemary Zuhair.
don't state your street, but go ahead.
Anyway, I'm very thrilled to see what's going on in our city and the steps this council is taking. I think that's very courageous to do what you're doing, and I think you will see the support from the public because our city needs to be following the charter by the dot, by every official, by every step we do. Otherwise, we're going to be spending lots of money on legal issues. But I really thank you, all 7 of you, and I thank the gentleman there who just got
We're not at 60 seconds, we're only at 2 minutes.
agreed to work with the city. And God bless you guys and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Any other members in the audience? Awesome.
You can't avoid me. Rachel LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I loved the conversation. I really want to thank, like, the lawyers. I'll tell them afterwards, too. But I really appreciated everybody, like, them discussing what I brought up, because that's how we learn things and understand them. What our clerk contributed to the conversation helped me understand it. I'm on board with it. I think that the explanation that who files the petitions, that's a great explanation of like sort of the legal who's included in this, right? So I really, I can't wait to see more of that. I think it's great. There were some comments on the Facebook stream. People really appreciated that open conversation that was respectful. Nobody was yelling and arguing. It was great. Can't wait to see more of it. Good job, guys.
Thank you so much. Do we have any more members from the audience? Are you sure? I know you've been waiting a long time. I was talking about Angela.
Angie, it wouldn't be right if you didn't.
I appreciate all you guys, and you're moving us in the right direction.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Thank you. Please state your name. Are you speaking, well, you're still speaking as a resident.
Yeah, I'm still a resident for now, right? Gary Mayatki, Plainfield Street, Dearborn Heights. Just thank you. I think this is going to be a very good arrangement, and I'm looking forward to being able to assist you, and I know they are as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else, and do we have anyone on Zoom, Madam Clerk? Okay, hold up. Are you speaking as a resident, or will you?
Clerk.
Okay, well, we're gonna hold off, because I let them go before the council members.
All right, Dave.
Listen, order and procedure, sorry. I promise to uphold the law to the best of my ability in my swearing in, but next up, I'm gonna now go back to comments from council members. If any council members want to go ahead and speak. Are you speaking, are you giving an announcement, or are you doing as council member?
Both, I'm doing a comment.
Okay,
and-
so we're going council member first.
Okay, comments. There was a meeting this morning, Tales of Two Cities at Park Place. There was a meeting this morning. It went rather well. We were represented very well, and we learned about the rats in Dearborn, and how they're handling it. And we probably should try to follow suit, because they've got some good things going.
I wish I was invited, I would've went.
Well, everybody was
I had no idea.
online.
Yeah, online?
Yeah, we weren't invited.
Chamber event.
Yeah, it was a chamber.
Yeah, I wish the chamber would've told us. It's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That's
Council
awesome. Yeah. Council, I gotta
Order.
stop. Councilman Saab.
Yeah, I just want to go back to comments about the storm that we had in the past couple days. A lot of people lost power. it's a Arctic vortex. Honestly, I'm speaking as a elected official and as a resident. I'm very disappointed in the city's response and the amount of, warming centers we had open. I mean, it's heartbreaking. No churches were open. We had hours of operation for warming centers, and they were closed at night. The most crucial, most important part of the day, which is the coldest part, centers were closed. I just couldn't, and as an elected official, I take responsibility of that on too, that we can do way better. We gotta improve on it. And whether it's 100 residents, 1,000 residents, or 2 residents, nobody should be left out in the cold in our city. And we can do better. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Councilman. Do we have any other council members?
Council Chair.
Councilman Pro Tem Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. I do want to thank all the DPW personnel for the great work that they did over the weekend. I know they did their best. I want to thank them very much. I mean, it's cold weather being out there from all night long. But to be honest with you, for the amount of calls that I've received over the weekend from residents, sadly to say that I don't think our leadership was ready for the storm. So I do hope and pray that they do prepare for next time and be there for our employees. And God bless them all. Thank you, Council Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Do we have any other council members?
I will just say a few things. First and foremost, yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. He was a man that, stood for what is right. Martin Luther King Jr. is somebody that said you can't fight hate with hate. You can't fight darkness with darkness. And, I want us all to know as this esteemed body that we need to work amongst each other, work with each other, work with this administration, and hoping that our city will move forward. I hate the fact that, we felt that majority, almost all of us felt like we needed representation from a special counsel or if we needed any information. I hate that we've gotten to this, but at the end of the day, I think everybody cares for the best interest of the city. I think people are looking at it from a different, lenses and whatnot. But just keep the late Martin Luther King in mind that you can't fight hate with hate and you can't fight darkness with darkness. So let's shed some light on each other. Let's try to be a little bit more optimistic. Let's be a little bit more diplomatic. And I also want to say that temperatures are in the single digits. Let's all remember to stay warm, keep your animals and pets from being outside. If they have to use the bathroom outside, be aware that your dogs aren't going to be able to speak to you. They're not going to be able to tell you that they're extremely cold or that their paws are cold, but it's very, very cold. I don't care how much fur they have on them. I saw a resident the other day walking their dog, and I'm just thinking to myself, it's extremely cold. You want to take them around the block, that's one thing, but make it quick. And then that's just all I have for you guys. Thank you so much.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
Thank you. No, those are all good points. Remember Martin Luther King's birthday yesterday. He was a great man, and our city's moving to encourage diversity, and we want to continue to do that. Regarding our special counsel, we want to remember that this is just on an as-needed basis.
Correct.
As a lawyer, I will tell you that we, hopefully, we'll be able to work some of these issues out, maybe with some better communication with the administration. So, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other council members?
Council Chair, just one more thing, since we
Make it
mentioned
quick.
Martin Luther King Day. I know the Diversity Commission.
CCRC.
Yeah, I know we had an
cultural-
event last Saturday, so I hope I can call on them and maybe they can reschedule the event, maybe hopefully for this weekend, because I don't think this should be canceled completely. That's about it.
Thank you.
All right, do we have?
I actually have one more comment too. I actually had a word with Mr. Mayaki. I'm very disturbed about the comment the mayor made with him walking in here. That's something we can discuss at a later time.
Yeah, it's something we can discuss at a later time. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have
Council Chair.
announcements.
Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you. Obviously, with the storm we had last couple of days, it was pretty trying on a lot of individuals and homeowners throughout the city. And I want to say thank you to all the people that went out there and helped their neighbors and went that extra mile to make things better for other individuals. We had a gentleman in Dearborn Heights, Anderson Landscape. He went around and he was plowing people's driveways after the snow plows came for no charge. Just yesterday, he went to a disabled veteran's home and plowed his driveway for no charge. And I think it's about time we give him some jobs that he can make some money on. It's Anderson Landscaping.
Absolutely, and we should actually recognize him for his assistance in the city, honestly.
That's awesome. Not to take away from Mr. Anderson, but I will tell you, I also just bought up my first snow blower as a homeowner. And it's an electric start, it's a Toro. I found it online and it was originally brand new for like $950. I said, I'm not like Councilman Ahmad rich or Councilman Saab rich, but, but I need to invest. And you know what? I said, if it's that expensive, I'm just gonna keep shoveling. So I went on Facebook Market. I saw a guy selling the same exact Toro for $300. He told me if I buy, I had to try to bargain with him. I told him $250. He told me if you buy it for $250, you'll lose your 1-year warranty. And I said, no. I'll pay the extra $50 for the warranty. Supposedly this man fixes them. He, refurbishes them. I was able to clean all my neighbors' snow in like 10 minutes. This thing was amazing. So shout out to Toro for creating such a good snow, and I'm sorry for adding on to that.
Council Chair?
Yes,
Just
Council.
on the record, I am only rich in your presence. That's
Thank
fine.
you. See what I mean? I didn't say rich financially.
Thank you, guys. Next up, we have announcements from the administration or members, I don't know what they called it, but.
City officials. That sounds good.
Also
Lynn
some
Senya, city
officials.
clerk. And you're going to see a lot more of me this year because we have 5 elections. Okay, so this is a reminder, January 30th, I know I mentioned it, the last one, is just for precinct 8 to elect district state rep.
That's for Westland.
25,
Yep.
right. So it's just Joy to Warren
Westland,
and
Wayne.
Inkster to, I'm not sure how far it comes this way. The precinct location for that election, January 30th, the precinct will be here in City Hall chambers, okay? And what I forgot to ask next time, the election after that is February 27th, which is our presidential primary. And anyone that would be willing to join our team is welcome to fill out an application. It's not volunteer, so chairs get 210, co-chairs are at 190, and inspectors are at 170.
Wow.
It's a long day. They have to start at 6 a.m. and go till who knows how long. Polls close at 8. What time, Nancy? Maybe, hopefully by 9, the inspector should be out. What's that?
It's up to 11, depending on.
It could be. And we have an AV counting board too. They get hourly pay. But we do have applications. You can call our office. You can email us. And the requirements is you do have to be a U.S. citizen and registered to vote in Michigan. That's a biggie. So that's the very first one. So give us a call. Come and join. We'd love to have you as our team.
Then remind them about the 9/11 voting.
That will be on February 27th, Prop 2 of 2022. We have 9 days of early voting. It will be at the Canfield Center, and it's starting on February 17th, 9 consecutive days, 8:30 to 4:30 roughly.
Question, is this for only federal?
State and federal.
State and federal?
It would be up to the Election Commission whether or not you would want to do that for locals. And that burden, that cost would be on the city.
Okay.
So we'll get to that before next year. So we have January 30th, February 27th, April 16th would be the general for precinct 8, and then August primary and November general. So if we don't get back to you right away, thanks for your understanding. Okay?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Do you have any more announcements?
Can I see? Oh, yep.
All right. There is a change in where the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association will hold their meetings on the 25th, Thursday at 7 p.m. The school.
Your mic.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. It will be at the Justice Center. When you walk in the front door, it's the room on the left. They're filling in because the school board has a meeting that night at the same time. So we're changing only for this month. to that location. And then on the night, and our speaker will be Ally Deeb, who will come and talk to us. So have any questions you want, he'll handle them there. And then the night before, Wednesday, the 24th, at this regular location on Beach Daily, 3335 South Beach Daily, the Ecorse Creek Commission will meet, 6 p.m.
Thank you so much, Madam, I almost called her Madam Clerk, but
Councilperson.
Council Breyer. Do we have any other announcements? Any city officials? Can I see a motion to adjourn?
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. Like I got that name right, huh? I memorized it. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.